Friends, our second speaker today is Dr. Vasanti Limaye, and I invite RTG from Mauritius to introduce our learned speaker, RTG.
Highly esteemed researchers and Agnihotris, Sadar, Supreme, Namaste आप सभी को. Thank you, Professor Dr. Ravi Prakash ji, for giving me this opportunity and privilege to introduce to you the next learned speaker, Dr. Vasanti Limaye ji. Dr. Vasanti Limaye is an independent researcher who has a deep interest in ancient Vedic knowledge and systems, especially on how it is helping and can help in the modern sciences. Dr. Limaye has studied the effect of Agnihotra ash on the water in Pashan Lake in Pune and has published few papers individually on the effect of Agnihotra on plant life. Dr. Vasanti Limaye has also been attending international ASTRA, known as the Ancient Science and Technology Retrospection and Aspiration conferences held in Pune. She has also been assisting Vedic scholar S.G. Nini. She worked in JNU as a research scholar and also as project associate in the Center for Environment Education in Delhi. She has presented her research paper on Yajna conferences held in Pune, Delhi, and Rishikesh. Among the diverse positive effects presented to demonstrate the spiritual and scientific dimensions of Agnihotra, Dr. Limaye will illustrate the effect of Agnihotra observed to be almost similar to the effect of the plant hormone brassicillolide known to augment the flowering, fruiting, and stress and disease resistance. With these words, I welcome and invite Dr. Vasanti Limaye to start her presentation on the bioenergetics of Agnihotra. Thank you all. The floor is all yours, Dr. Ji. Thank you.
Thank you all the distinguished scholars. Now I will start my presentation. Before I start my presentation, I would like to welcome all the fraternity, distinguished scientists, and the Vedic scholars. Thanks to Dr. Arya for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I'll start my presentation. I had started performing Agnihotra to have a better sleep. However, its curative effects on plants led me to further research and investigate systematically not only at my home but also in fields, gardens, and other places having plants in the vicinity. So, my discussion today will be based on these 5 topics. What is Agnihotra? Peculiar observation of some plants kept in my double height terrace. Further studies conducted by me in a field based on these observations. Affirmation of the results by field studies and the scientific rationale behind the action of Agnihotra fumes explained. So, like, what is Agnihotra? What is Yajna? So, Yajna, I see Yajna as a selfless activity, and for Agnihotra, most scholars have spoken about. So, I will not speak much about this Agnihotra, but I am following what I had followed at home was a simple form of Agnihotra Homa, a daily Homa that is performed at the sunrise and sunset with 2 mantras. The fire is lit in a pyramid-shaped copper vessel of specific dimensions. And the ingredients that are required are cow dung cakes, unpolished, unbroken rice, cow ghee, camphor, and roban to lit the fire. As this shape, the vessel used is in the form of an inverted pyramid, and the energy is multiplied at each layer. So now I would like to discuss the properties of materials that are used for Agnihotra. Copper is a good conductor of heat and it helps in better combustion. It's also known to have antibacterial properties. Cow dung cake has been found to be antibacterial. It was found that fumigation of medicinal herbs was found to be more effective in presence of cow dung cakes. Cow ghee is a carrier of healing energies. Triglycerides, sterols associated with the membrane of milk lipid globules are present in the clarified butter, which are also present as mono and diacetyl glycerols, fatty acids, esters, cholesterol, soluble vitamins, carotenoids, and squalene also occur in minor amounts along with small amounts of hydrocarbons. Rice grains. Triglycerides are present in bran and endosperm of brown rice. Ethylene oxide, propylene oxide, formaldehyde, beta propionolactone are released by burning of rice. These gases help in purifying the atmosphere and are helpful in killing the microbes. Mechanism of action of energy production in Agnihotra. Agnihotra combines the energies of five elements space, air, earth, fire, and water to restore the balance in the atmosphere and nature, as the previous speaker has told in her lecture. The ritual is performed through chanting of specific Agnihotra mantras in Sanskrit, which cause specific vibration and convey the ethos of surrender to the deities. Being performed at the exact time of sunrise and sunset, it combines the energies of setting moon with that of rising sun and the energies of setting sun with the energies of rising moon to produce special kind of biodynamic energies which have a specific effect beneficial for all the living organisms. So, like first observation, which came to me after performing Agnihotra, that there was a plant kept on my balcony near the where the vessels were washed. So this whole the plant was receiving sunlight, but the whole plant was covered with insects. But after I started performing Agnihotra, the insects started disappearing, and because I was lucky to take this photograph, and afterwards the insects were disappeared. So like after that means I performed it for 2 3 years, and then it came to my notice that the cobwebs were also started disappearing from my home, and like cockroaches, I didn't need the cockroach treatment for my home. And next observation was that this was a bamboo shoot which was kept on a height at a switchboard near the Agnihotra where I was performing. And after when I was changing water, it came to my notice that the two scale-like appendages appeared uh, in it, and I was really excited to see the results. And then bought a money plant bottle which was which was not producing any new leaf. It was just lying dormant, maybe because it was not receiving any light air. But I brought it near in the Agnihotra atmosphere, but in a window where it didn't receive much sunlight and all. But after 5 6 days exposure, a new leaf, this bulge was formed at the base, and a new leaf had appeared. And as you can see, the seedlings started appearing from the soil. Like the seeds which were present in the soil had become active now. A new sapling was produced. And because of this sapling, then I designed an experiment. I kept all the spinach seeds and had taken it and kept them at different heights. So this first picture shows it was kept at a height, and here the seeds, they were germinating very fast. As much so they were growing very fast. The stems were flimsy, but they and at the bottom, the the growth was very somewhat restricted. So then it became clear to me that the Agnihotra Vapour was responsible for this growth. I had done some bacterial studies also, but the photographs were not coming clear because of the moisture in that. So I had also achieved bactericidal properties, but when I kept them near the Agnihotra pot, there the growth was seen. And this, you can see, it was the how the wood had produced new leaves because of the exposure to the Agnihotra fumes. Like here, as discussed before, the process is not a full combustion, but it vaporizes the substances. As I have discussed, the fumes were causing this new growth. And then this plant. Otherwise, if you see only one or two leaves will be produced in 5-6 days time, but a new whirl of leaves are produced. So this growth was so much augmented. And then I bought some flowering plants and kept it in the atmosphere. And flowering was hustled, and I don't know, and the all the flowering plants responded by more flowering. But there was a curious observation that the leaves were shed, and after the flowers were formed, then again starting appearing at the base. This thing, I thought that this flowers are providing a kind of sink, all the nutrition attracted to the site, and after the flowers had appeared, then this leaves had started appearing at the base. But these experiments, like this senescence or falling of leaves, are more pronounced. I was using brown rice only, but very small mountain variety of rice, very small in the size. But with the long grain basmati rice, brown rice, these effects were less pronounced. Here also you can see after inflorescence was formed, the leaves were starting wilting. And here is a control plant, and the plant kept in the atmosphere. You can see the growth is better in the Agnihotra exposed plant. And this peculiar, but actually, as the growth was augmented fast, similarly the old leaves, they had started yellowing, which is not a common feature as in the money plants. So I will give an explanation for this later on. And this is a control plant. As you see this, I had see this two plants were brought from the same mother plant. One was kept in balcony of other neighbors' terrace, where there was no exposure to the Agnihotra Vapour, and this was one was exposed to Agnihotra Vapour, and the flowers were formed, and the tropic curvature was also changed. Like the plant was going horizontally before, but now it was growing vertically and produced buds. And to my most surprise, what happened? There was a mango tree just in front of my terrace where I was carrying out the Agnihotra. The balcony is closed from three sides, but one way to escape. And the vapor was reaching this plant, and there was a lot of inflorescence and a lot of fruits. Earlier, like people all in my society know that the fruit were formed very sessile, very small fruits, and they were shed. And nobody has seen such a this thing good yield in this mango plant, which came to a surprise like after Agnihotra. And then I repeated the study in a big field where many plants were there, and I performed Agnihotra, the daily Agnihotra, with rice oblations in it, sitting in a east corner. An exact time I also followed in the field, and there were new leaves were produced, flowering had increased, and I came to notice that where the sunrise was falling in the morning, the number of flowers were more. And earlier the flowers were very small, not fully grown. But after this, flowers were more in number, and this parijat plant was shifted to a new this thing location, and apart, still the season was of flowering, but no flowers were seen before. And after that, the flowers started appearing. First there were two flowers, then more flowers, three, four flowers started coming. As you see that there are many flowers on this plant, but here only two three flowers were produced earlier because of the exposure to Agnihotra vapor. And this plant was there was a lemon plant. All the plant had lemons growing on it, but because of this exposure to Agnihotra vapor, flowers were formed. Then there are other this thing, creepers were there which was under the roof, and here also the flowers had appeared which I had never seen before. And this vertical, because of this vertical surface, this plant had started yellowing as my experiments on the terrace. And in a trough there was this water hyacinth was kept, and that had started disintegrating. It was really a surprise to me, and that had started disintegrating. And there were like this creeper, there was no fruit. People, my assistant was complaining that I have this, but no fruit is there. But the fruit had also produced in presence of Agnihotra vapor. And here you can see there was a novel experiment. Only this part of tree was there in the balcony, and it was raining, and sunlight was very low. But I performed here six Agnihotra for 6 days, and a new leaf had started appearing. And now I had very much assured about the Agnihotra of vapor, and after that, till now I had not used ash. But now, now I also used this ash, and then saw that the leaf area of this plant had increased. And but when in the monsoon, there was long roots were produced instead of this new leaves. The very long roots were produced. So the node which was producing the leaf had been started producing roots. So there was a kind of root and shoot shift in the balance, root shift balance. So then I covered some of the bottles of my this experimental plants with black cloth, and there in three of the two bottles the leaf had appeared. And as I had discussed, there was a tropicity change after Agnihotra, because you can see all the plants will either go vertically, or after three leaves, the 2-3 leaves are formed, they will go down. But here the Agnihotra vapor of exposure, this was some tropicity change was there. And this bottle was without Agnihotra exposure, and after Agnihotra exposure, the same new growth and some senescence was observed. And another interesting thing which came to my notice was the rose plant. The number of roses was increased, no doubt, but after 4 or 5 days, there was a shoot at the base was formed, and it became very tall within 2-3 days time. As the and this field also, like I was surveying whether it's happening in the field. Yes, it had happened. And there were many plants which were this, because you can recognize a new shoot by the red colored one. So there were many plants which had this very growing very tall shoot, which originated at the base. And then I had got this rose plant. It had not started flowering yet. So I had not kept this in the Agnihotra atmosphere, but somewhere else in in my house. And then I had taken shallow vessels, and water I was exposing to the Agnihotra vapor, kept at a height. And then I poured the water on this plant, and there was a shoot appearing at the base. So all those effects of Agnihotra fumes which I had noted, and so these were the initiation of new growth, breaking of seed dormancy, proliferation of leaves. Apical dominance was broken, as you the base, the new shoot was formed. Change in the cropic curvature, senescence, initiation of fluorescence and bud formation, lateral bud shoot formation, cell elongation. As you see, the this thing was very some shoots had become very long in 2 days time, and production of fruits. Then I made a literature survey to see what could be the cause of this uh, these changes in the physiological changes in the plants. So then as I told earlier that the effects were more pronounced in the sunlight. So the sunlight induced expression of genes or the phytohormones could be the cause for this action. So then I read more and more, and then I came to my notice that all these different physiological functions are thought to be growth hormone brezinolite. So this is a new class of resinosteroids, which are more to the animal hormone they resemble more. And as we have seen that the ghee is used and plant, so here some steroids, because from steroid this new hormone is formed, and it was earlier not known to the scientific fraternity, because when I studied in the college, BSc did, there were only, we knew only of 3-4 hormones, plant hormones, but this was a new class of hormones, and it was like found to be kind of a master hormone. Like we have a pituitary hormone, the master hormone in our body, so it's governing different physiological functions in the plants, and somehow the Agnihotra vapor was triggering production of this brezinosteraid. So I read more literature and then came to know that this brezinosteraid, the receivers or the whatever, like where the thing are received, are the present at the base. And it was also found out that the brezinosterides or hormones are now extensively used in agriculture and commercial agriculture, and this is also associated with the stress and disease resistance, and also with microbial resistance. Now I have got the references for that also, that it's also bactericidal. It has been proved to have a bactericidal action as well. So this was my finding, that the vapor not only like better nutrition it was getting, the plant was getting, but it was acting at the genic level or the physiochemical level to produce the phytohormones, which have been transported to different sites, like inducing flowering. And also I had I had performed in the Pashan Lake, but only for 5-6 days. So I can't. There was a disintegration of water hyacinth, but I can't be very sure because water drift and all. But the most important thing was that I had collected much ash. For 2-3 years of performing Agnihotra, I had many bags full of ash. And whenever I went daily to perform this Agnihotra, I had this thing, all the ash I will drop in the water. And after 7 days, we had gone to the Pashan Lake, not early in the morning, but 10 o'clock or something. And earlier we had noticed that there was this thing, froth in a corner of the lake. But after the froth had disappeared, and the lake water was very, very clear. Like now I was saying that BRs have also been associated with the immunity. These are the references for that. So there is this brezinolides is a master kind of hormone which regulates the activity of gibberellic acids, which produce cell elongation, the long plants, and abscisic acid, which has been detected like when the BRs are induced artificially. So there this abscisic acid is also seen there in the in vivo studies. So this was more or less confirmed, but I want to confirm it by the experimental studies also. Like some precursors are present in the vapor, and this was the mold growth inside our old refrigerator, which has this mold growth. So after that, I started performing Agnihotra in the room where this refrigerator was kept. and I will open the doors of the refrigerator and expose it to the Agnihotra vapor. I did it for 15 or 20 days with opening of this thing. Initially, I will keep the moist bread in after exposure 5-10 minutes. Then I will close it, and the moist bread was kept in the refrigerator. And no, earlier the growth was seen, but later on the growth had started. The growth of this mold was arrested. And when was there was also, when I was told how to perform Agnihotra by Art of Living teachers, they had also uh, told me about this Triambak Homa, like which is they had told me that you can perform it any day or Monday or the thing for 5 minutes, 10 minutes as it suits you. Only the Triambak mantra and with some oblations of pure ghee, pure cow ghee or put. So I was doing it just for 5 minutes or so, and then there this plant, there were this new buds were appeared, but I performed it for 7-8 days. The buds were not open, but the buds had been formed. But after I started doing Agnihotra, after Triambak Homa, the flowers have opened. So like this cow ghee vapor and this thing, because of this, some flowering can be induced. But and then after that I did some this experiment. This way I also did in like this carrot has very total potential, so the plant will grow after 5-6 days if you keep it in this thing. But after in Triambak in Agnihotra atmosphere, this new shoots grow, and from all the sides within 2-3 days, but not in the Triambakoma. So the formation of new seeds and all could be associated with the rise, which was obliterated in the vapor. So this was my presentation, that the like vapor, Agnihotra vapor is kind of producing growth regulator substances in plants and disease resistance and insect resistance, which is responsible for the Agnihotra forms uh, being popular in many countries, not in India also. So this is the like scientific action that Agnihotra vapor has. So acknowledgements. I'm grateful to His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, the internationally renowned master and founder of Art of Living Foundation, for initiating me into this wonderful Vedic procedure of Agnihotra. Also, the work had not been possible without the blessing of Sri Sai Baba, Swami Samar, and Gajanan Maharaj of Akkalkot. And I'm immensely thankful for Professor Ravi Prakasharya for giving me this unique opportunity to present my work.
We have seen how Dr. Vasanti Limaye, she shared the experiments done by her in her house itself, and these were small experiments. And we found that the yellow leaves were turning green, and budding took place, and so many things. And these experiments also suggest us that we can do such experiments at our own home and find out the truth of Agnihotra. So this is very much just like Jagdish Chandra Basu. He did experiments on plants, and he proved, small experiments he did, and he proved that plants have lives. I think in the same manner, Dr. Vasanti has done a lot of experiments uh, in her house itself on plants, and she found a very significant impact of Agnihotra on them. So I thank you, Vasanti ji, for this, for sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you, everyone, for listening this